Hello everybody, I am Fuzzyface and welcome to another edition of this playthrough of Motorsport Manager Career Mode on the PC. We are on part 5 now, which means it's the 5th race of the season. We're a third of the way into this 12 race season, so we've done 4 races. Currently Santa Ana is doing remarkably well here, actually making a challenge for the title early on, where she's currently in 3rd place. Latinen is in 9th, not doing too badly herself, although we did mess up in the last race, although I don't think she would have had a points finish even if we didn't mess up. And in the teams we're actually 2nd in the table, 19 points, we're actually 9 points behind 1st place. But it's not too bad overall. We do actually have enough points to stay up this season, so it was the right decision actually coming up and going for that overall. The car, we're making some steady improvements here. Just the rear wing we're behind on, and we're working on a front wing at the moment because a lot of the upcoming races do have a lot of low speed corners, so that's what we're going to work for. Maybe try and see what we can do for a rear wing after that, and then we're going to build a couple of gearbox parts towards the end of the season that have some riskier parts in them, so we have a really good base for next season, because we should be able to make a jump of about, what is it, 60 and 170, so we should be able to make a jump of about 150 on the gearbox for next year and be at a really good starting point. But other than that, there's not much that we can be doing at the moment. We are building a telemetry centre which should give access to those parts that I was talking about in the great section of the designing new parts bit. We've done all the mail. There's no sponsors coming due. No, just this one runs out after the next race. We're not actually scouting any drivers because they're both doing amazingly well this season. Santa Ana always does above expectation. She's like a middle of the pack driver. And hopefully both of these drivers do improve to their potential. My Latin's probably getting a little bit on too much to get to hers, but Santa Ana has the potential to get to 3. And of course we keep Latin around because we get £588,000 per race as a pay driver. We only pay £99,000, so we've got a net benefit of about £500,000 per race, which goes towards this £1.2 million that we get in per race towards our budget, which is helping us improve the car a lot this year. There's not much more work that I want to do on the HQ anytime soon, so it's basically getting the car to a point where we can compete in this division. But obviously we are competing quite well here. We've got 1 win so far. So next up we've got Vancouver, which is what was voted in last season. We weren't in this series last year, but the teams in this series last year voted for this to take the place of the Black Sea Grand Prix, I think it was. Yeah, was it? Did one of the Russian races go? So maybe they had 2 Russian races. Or maybe Vancouver was just adding as an extra track, but it's a really short track here. We've won 1 long straight. It's only 2.75 miles long, so I'm thinking that with such a long straight and only a few corners in it, maybe this track is a sort of track that might only take like a minute to get round if it's dry. Like this one, I think this one's going to be... This one's definitely going to be under a minute to get round, but this Vancouver race here, I think this might be a minute 5 to get round, so we might be able to get quite a lot of practice in. And obviously we've got full dry conditions hopefully for the race. It's high on tyre wear, it says, but then again the laps are so short and so quick and not many corners that I don't see how tyre wear could be so much of a problem. Maybe it's because the weather's going to be hot, but we do have ultra softs for this race as well. So I don't see why it's saying the tyre wear is going to be high if it's allowing us to have ultra soft, well, just the ultra soft and soft, so we're not even using a soft tyre. We've got super soft and ultra soft. But anyway, we're just going to go ahead now and get this front wing built, and we'll pick back up from there. Right, so we've had the front wing finished now. Had a couple of dilemmas here. One of the directors would absolutely love to film a TV piece, but we went against that just to keep the mechanics happy with the drivers. We don't need the 100,000. In his birthday we threw a party, took 100,000 off us but gave her a +10, not that we needed that. And also Mia Latinen has done a fun run, so her marketability has gone up a little bit. That doesn't help much. Doesn't help much there. Still in the 3-star range. But we're gonna go ahead now. We don't have anything performance wise in here because everything's just finished, I think, whilst we were skipping ahead. So the new part is going to go in Santa Ana's car because she can use unreliable parts, and then we'll give this better part to Latinen. So not too far apart at the moment. Obviously we're going to work on it here. We'll work on the reliability, and we need to work on the reliability of this now to get this up to 80% since this is going in Latinen's car, so we should get it somewhere near before the race. So where are we at now with the front wing? We've improved a little bit. Not too much because it's not that much of improvement at the moment, although we should be able to get this just under 400 to 395. So we can add about 9 to that. So should we wait until we've got some money back in the bank, back into the green before we spend some more? What actual improvement can we make on the rear wing? Which is the one thing that we're behind. We do have a 347 at the moment, so what can we get out of this? Most of them are risky. Now, I think we might ignore the rear wing this year. We can't build everything that we want to. If we did that, then we'd have no money at all. And we might need a little bit here towards the end of the season to put towards next year's car. Because this year we didn't actually go away with putting it away, but we're going to try to save it anyway. So to replicate that, it will be it's about 3 million, is it, between those? So we would need about 3.6 million to replicate this, saving this amount up per month over what we are doing. So maybe we can get to that point by the end of the season, although I do want to build those gearboxes. So now we're just going to concentrate on those parts, and we're going to go ahead and get to practice. So we're just about to start practice. We've got another email here. It's another dilemma one, is it? No, it's Santa Ana, sim racing enthusiast. So she's got a +1 stat boost to overtake and a +5 for marketability. We should still be at 3 stars, but we're up to 59% now. So we're always making improvements here. Obviously, the team is really popular. So the team has got 100% team marketability. So if we could get these up a little bit more. Santa Ana keeps improving as she keeps winning. But yes, so that's improved her now. She's got a 12 here. So her stats aren't too bad here. And obviously, once you come to this and look at the rules, we've got driver aids allowed. So the skill of the driver doesn't matter too much in this. Obviously, it'll help a little bit, but it's not as drastic increase as it would be in the European or the World Motorsport Championship, where driver skill is a big part of it. Driver skill isn't as big a part of this series. As I said in the last update, every time last time, it seems when we click this, it sort of jinxes it and we don't have the result we want, whereas if we click this one, we always finish high up. And we're not in desperate need of any money, so we're just going to try and take 200,000, although it's not. 200,000 is sort of here. No, there it's like one part, whereas this will go, if we could get this quite a lot of the time. So maybe we won't go ahead and click for this one now. And here, most of it's for qualifying, and we're not going to be qualified in the top 4. I'll just do that just in case it does jinx us. Santa Ana's always angry with the setup of the car because we always give the best parts to Santa Ana, who has no reliability problems because she has the nurse boost. She has this little boost here, whereas Latinen has a risk taker boost, so she can do fast pit stops without any added risk. So we'll just go ahead now and get to practice. So I'm thinking we're going to need quite high downforce just for some of these corners here. We've got a couple of pretty tight corners. And we're going to need a good mix between acceleration and top speed because we've got this one on a lot of things. So we're not going to mess with the gear ratios too much. Maybe just drop it down a little bit for acceleration purposes, I think. So we're going to drop that. We'll take this up to sort of the middle. So we'll go in the middle between 25 and 30 to 27.5 and 17.5. And there's quite a lot. Maybe we need... Should we just leave that in the centre to start with? I was going to put it around here somewhere. I would think it's towards the bottom end of this scale. I wouldn't think it were all the way up here for oversteer, but we'll go with that anyway. It should be dry, so we'll go out on a super soft and we can just use those tyres until we start thinking about setting some lap times. Should we try and copy with Santa Ana? Should we go a little bit higher with her? Yeah, look, she's got... So maybe we do need it up here. I'll try that one. That's the sort of what I was wanting with Anna's car, but she says she doesn't like that. So we'll just see what they both think about with this. I'll set a couple of lap times and we'll come back. Well, we're not going to set lap times this time out. We're just going to go around once and then we'll come back and see how they both said. Always going to stick with the qualifying one because we do need help with qualifying more than the race. We'll just see what sort of times we can get off this. So we're back in from that first stint. I went ahead and set a lap time because I wanted to see what sort of times we would be expecting. And look at that, it's just over a minute long is the course. It's a really quick lap and we didn't do too badly. to start with the setups. We're already at a 93 here, so let's see what is needed here. So great. So do we need it a little bit? Should we go a little bit higher? Should we try a little bit higher? Just for the front wing? Or maybe for both? Yeah, we'll notch both of them up a little bit. And if we do, should we take the handling that way? Or should we try it this way? I'm not quite sure which is needed for this track. Still got life in these. So we got the handling excellent. So she was happy with the handling quite high here. So just towards understeer. So maybe we've gone the wrong way with Santa Ana there. Maybe we should have checked this one first. Does she want more acceleration out of this car? And we'll knock the downforce up a little bit more. Go quite high with that. We'll just set a couple more. We'll just do another lap to see what sort of feedback we get on these ones. And pick back up from there. Right, so as I thought, we went the wrong way with the handling there for Santa Ana. We did get the speed balance excellent that time, so we should knock the suspension up a little bit here. So we need to go this way. And she won't have that at 69. We had it there. So can we keep that the same? Actually, we won't mess with that just yet because we've got to adjust this. So it went great. So should we try going the other way this time? See if that gives us a different rating. So we need to try and tie these back up now. Can we get that like that? Right, let's send Santa Ana out like that. We still use this pair of super softs that we've got. So what did we get wrong with Latin in that time? So we went the wrong way with pretty much everything there. So that gives us a good idea of where we need to go. So we need to go right. So we need to lower the downforce and we need to go more towards top speed. Maybe copy what we've done on Santa Ana's car with this one. And then even this back up. That should do. So we'll see what sort of feedback we get from that one and pick back up after this lap. Right, so we're a bit further on now. We've got Santa Ana pretty much up to scratch. We're not going to mess with this one now. We're just going to have a set some times. I'm happy enough with 97%, so we're going to come out, just try and set a couple of lap times before the session's up. We're going to do the same with Latinum, but we'll try. Have we had a better speed rating on any of these? We did. Just a little bit that way to the right, so maybe we can do that. Let's see what sort of rating we get, but we're going to set some times with these now. So we'll go ahead and send these out both on the Ultra Soft, see what sort of times we can get, and we'll pick back up at the end of practice. So in the end with those setups we had a really good practice session there. Santa Ana here really close to Larson here in first place after practice, so hopefully that bodes well for qualifying. Maybe we should have took that far higher, but then again we've got to get practice right, qualifying right, and hope we don't get held up by anyone, so it's quite a big risk. And Latin is not too far behind as well. She's within a second of the leader after practice. A lot of these cars are going slow, so whether these didn't get any clean laps in, I'm not quite sure. But anyway, we can go ahead now. We might be able to get 3 laps in here for maybe we should have put a bit more on the Ultra Softs because we're not going to use the Super Softs for practice. But we do have a 10% performance boost, so we do have some spare Ultra Softs that we can use. Yeah. So everything's okay there. So hopefully we can replicate what we did in practice. So we'll send Latin out first. Should we do one at a time? Would we have enough time to do 3 for each of them if we do that? Should we wait for Latin to get to the straight here? So give us some space behind that car. Slow down for these corners. We'll try and get a burn it down this straight here and pull everything off this last corner. It's quite hard this one because it's quite a short track, so we'll try we won't send Santa Ana out because she'll probably hold up Latin as she comes around. So now we'll go out with Santa Ana. More bothered about getting clear air, having a clean lap rather than getting most of these things right. So we'll try and get everything up. So where's the end of this? It's just after this corner, isn't it? So it's going to be hard to get the brakes right. So should we just concentrate on tyre temperature rather than the brakes? Because we've got to come around that corner just as this finish here. So we're always going to have high brake temperatures coming around. Latin set at 109. Do we have any clear track here for Santa Ana? It does look like we do. So can we get a good time here? No, we're quite far behind. Maybe that's because of the brakes. And look at that, you get bunched up around this track on all the corners like that. Look how much she's getting slowed down. She's getting crowded out by all these cars. And she's pretty slow there at a 110. It's not the best, but hopefully we can improve on that. We'll get Santa Ana straight back out here. We'll save the fresh pair of Ultra Softs for her last lap. I think we're going to be able to get out another time, aren't we? Hopefully. Or maybe we're not. Car in front of her here, so we'll try and let that get ahead before we go ahead and push on like this. See if we can get it right as we get to this last corner. See, look, it's always going to overheat these brakes on that last corner there, so maybe we're going to have to try and get everything high and then drop everything at that last corner. I'll try let Latinen get around, see what Latinen can get with that, and we'll put the fresh pair of Ultras on. Maybe we will have to use a pair of softs during the race. Although we should be able to do 2 stops on these, shouldn't we? Because it's 19 laps, so we should be able to make 3 pairs of Ultras last for the race. They do seem to be a lot quicker than the Super Softs. So let's try and get everything burnt up like this, and then we'll slow down for that last corner instead. Although we don't want to catch these cars in front of us. We do that and then try and get everything slowing down for this last corner. Yeah, I missed it. Cold and good there. Not the best, but hopefully it's good enough. Might have some clear air here for Santa Ana. She's slowed down by a car coming out of the pits there. Not the best there. So where is she? How far is she behind? Should we pull her in and then we can get another lap out of her? I'm going to pull her in to get another lap out of her here. So we'll go straight back out with Santa Ana here because she needs to get out and set this lap. We won't use a fresh pair. We do have a fresh pair here to use for Latinen. Try send them out together just so we can get around. So we'll try that same one again. We slowed down a bit too early last time, but there's a big bunch of cars here, so maybe we're going to have to drop back and then speed up. We're going to get overtaken by Latinen and slow down here. So come around, overheated for them both. And this is a really hard track to get a good little reading out there. This little mini game. Santa Ana's been slowed down there again, and Latinen's stuck between a bunch of cars as well. I don't think we're going to improve here. It looks like Santa Ana's going to be starting from 20th again. It's just crazy because it's a short length of this track that they all bunch together like that. 15th and 20th. We didn't manage to go any quicker there. Crazy the amount of bunching on this track. I don't know whether that's a... See, if we hadn't been held up on some of those laps, we would have been quite high up there because we did get held up and we're not... No, 103 the fastest lap there. We're looking at their last lap at a 108. That's how far you get behind just by the bunching up on the corners of these, and there was no point during that qualifying session where there was any clear track at all, so I don't know how these managed to get around with clean laps. Absolutely crazy session there, and I don't think the laps are long enough here for us to run our strategy, but we're certainly going to go ahead and try it. Going to try run as long as we can. I don't know how much fuel it'll let us have in the car. 8 laps, so we should be able to do pretty much as the same as we did in the last one. We can try and make Santa Ana stretch to this 8 laps of fuel. Whereas we'll have Latinen push a little bit more, just so they don't clash on pit stops. So we'll just have her push to get up to temperature, and we'll have Latinen push from the start. See what we can get here. Hopefully Santa Ana can pull off another miracle. I'm not counting on it, so this may be our first race where we don't do the best. Mainly because qualifying was so hard there, especially with that last corner to get everything cooled down just as you come around that corner. So there's pretty much no way of getting the brakes right unless you just go something like that and slow right down. It's probably a strategy for that one. But that was a really hard. Maybe I'll have to push these to get these up to temperature so we don't fall behind too much. Have to put them in overtake mode. Just need to stay around with the back of the pack and hopefully we don't get lapped at any point. So I can go ahead and turn these down now. Latton's running 17th, she's dropped a couple of places here, so we're running at the back of the pack again early on. Just see if we can keep Santa Ana up here. See if we can keep her towards the back of the pack. But there is a lot of bunching that's allowing these front runners to get away here. I don't think we're going to be able to pull off the same strategy this time. Maybe we can pick up places during the pits. Lattinen's locked up, so we're going to have to look after these tyres a bit now. Maybe we can just push the engine a little bit, because we're going to have to come in a little bit earlier than we were hoping with Lattinen. So let's just see. It does look like Santa Ana's going to be get quite a lot out of this car. Nice little stint here. She's doing quite a good job with the tyres. As long as she can just keep behind here, we might be able to get her further up the field at some point. Whereas Lattinen now is starting to cool down. We can probably cool off on these tyres a little bit now. Make them last these 4 or 5 laps that we've got to do. So a lot of them are starting to dive into the pits now. So should we turn them up? Let Santa Ana come out. No, we're not going to turn up just yet because we're not ahead of anything. We'll just I don't think we're going to be able to get past this car here, can we? Can we get behind Lattinen if we push Santa Ana down this straight? See if she can make a move on this car. Don't think we've got the speed to do it. Not quite, so we'll go ahead and turn her back down. So Lattinen's running 9th now, so should we go ahead and have her pit after this? Should we push this car? We push, yeah, because the tyres are running out, so we'll come in for another pair of ultras. We're going to try go as long as we can again. She can do a fast pit stop, so let's see where she filters out here. Just make sure we've done that right. Always like to make sure I double check, make sure I've not left the tyres out. Fast, and just not enough fuel to finish the race. So we've got another pit stop to do after this. We're going to push Lattinen here. Santa Ana is running 11th. A lot of the cars have made their pit stops ahead. We're hopefully going to have stronger ultra softs at the end of the race and be able to push on those. So let's just see where we filter out with Lattinen here. Santa Ana's now up into 9th. Still no gap in front of her to push here. We might have a lap of pushing at some point, so we're getting out right at the back of the pack here, up in 7th, down here in 17th. We'll just push the new tyres. Try and run as long as we can here. So what are we going to get out of Santa Ana here? Lap 7. So we've got another lap after this one, so should we go ahead and start pushing now? Because we're coming in after this lap. So do we have enough to get round? So we're going to have to turn the engine down at some point during this lap. Going to fill up to the top. We will risk a fast one here. Every second helps. So we have got past there. So we're going to have to turn the car down a little bit here. Maybe down this straight, put it back up. And then turn around for the last couple of bends. Not bad there with managing that little pit stop, so hopefully she has a decent pit stop here. Or is she going to come out with a mistake on the pit stop? Didn't have too much time and we're back out at the back of the pack, but running there with Lattinen almost crashing into her as we came out of the pits. So Santa Ana now is going to go quite a long way here. How far is she behind? Look at that, we're a long way behind the front of the pack this time. So I don't think we're going to do the best in this race. It's quite a short track. Not a lot of overtaking unless you can get close on these straights, but hopefully now just having these stronger tyres might do. No, we lost that place straight back there. Probably try and conserve these tyres now we're lasting since they're getting quite hot. Check back in with Santa Ana here. It's just this wild bunching on this track where you get held up a long way. And look, first is coming up now, so we're probably going to get lapped at some point during this race. Not ideal there, so should we go ahead? We've got life now with Santa Ana, so should we just have a push now? We can probably just have a do this till the end of the race maybe. Can't we? See how far we can get her. Could we do the same with Latinen? Does she have enough in her? Should we just go ahead and do this now? It might affect the car condition of Latinen's. We'll just put Santa Ana here. Don't have to worry about pit stop, just see how far up the order we can get her now. So, we do have speed there, she's quite good, and we're getting up the field here. Can we go ahead and do anything in during this race? So, Santa Ana now is getting ahead here and catching a few cars. So we've got one more pit stop to go with Santa Ana. We're going to be coming in after this lap for Latinen. So Latinen's going to make her final pit stop, and we should have enough to just push everything to the end of the race maybe. So if we fill her up to the top, we can just have her push. I don't know whether the tyres would have enough in them to do that, so we've got to turn these tyres down now because they're way too hot. So maybe we can go ahead and conserve these now while still pushing the engine. Try and cool these tyres down. Just see where we can get these two cars after this final round of pit stops. I think everyone else has done there too, pretty much. It's not the sort of track where we get our usual strategy of where we can get clear air and hopefully pick up some places as we do that. So what's Santa Ana like here? So maybe we should go ahead and get these tyres up to temperature quickly. And we've got about another lap that we can get through here with Santa Ana, it looks like. Can we? Should we? No, it's burning through fuel, something shocking. It uses quite a lot of fuel pushing it in full, so should we go? Is it worth it to do that? How much does she need? So that. Should we go for that? Just so we can have a push. We're going to come in this lap. We'll probably filter out again back at the end of the field because everyone's just bunched behind us here. Nice decent pit stop. Can she get out ahead of Latinen? We're going to have to push these tyres to get them up to temperature. So we can probably just run Santa Ana like that to the end of the race. Now 14th and 15th is not bad here. That's quite a decent result. Hopefully we can pick up another place to get to 13th. I don't think it's going to be possible, but we are gaining here, so maybe we can pick up a few places before the end of the race. Just keep an eye on the fuel levels, make sure the tyres don't get too hot. Maybe we can pick up a few places here. Santa Ana try to make a move there. These corners are quite hard to get past other cars on. We don't quite have the top speed to outrun anyone on these straights, so it's not really an option for us. Turn down Latinen's tyres here. And tries to get past there, but we end up losing a place instead. Don't look like we're going to pick up any places here, so it looks like 15th and 16th could be where we're going to finish here. Oh, one of the cars is broken down there. So coming around to the last lap, we should have just enough fuel to do it. Both cars have gone past the pit, so let's see what it's going to say for us. Just enough to get round with Latinen. Plenty to get round there with Santa Ana. There's a couple of cars breaking down here, going slow on these final corners, so can we get past these? So we're up into 10th, so a lot of the other cars still having a lot of reliability problems here, so where are we actually going to finish here? A lot of cars down this final stretch. Just breaking down, I don't think we're going to get a points place. Held up there behind this car, we'll just crawl across the finish line. So 7th and 8th in the end there somehow. A lot of these cars having a lot of reliability problems. Not quite making it through. I'm not quite sure. I wasn't paying attention down here. I'm not sure whether they're running out of fuel or not. I don't think there's any indicator here that would let us know if the other cars run out of fuel. Could that be a problem with them? Could that be what's happening? No, I don't think it is. But anyway, 7th and 8th is not too bad there, so it rescues... it gets us that little bit of bonus money. It's 100,000, it's not much, but we do pick it up. Anyway, so 7th and 8th in the end, not too bad, but quite a bit of luck in that race to finish 7th and 8th, as a lot of the cars have reliability problems, and we've got all our reliability problems sorted for this race. Now, for this series, we don't have that problem, whereas a lot of the other cars seem to be struggling in getting up to speed with getting their cars reliable here, so we didn't pick up any points in that race. 7th and 8th, not bad at all. Santa Ana's still running 3rd, but we're dropping behind now. 1st place, Latin midfield, still in the top, and we're still 3rd here. Still doing well. Dropped down 1 place, I think, have we? 3rd in the tables, not bad. A couple of these teams at the bottom starting to pick up a few points, but none of them should be able to get anywhere near where we are. So we're sitting pretty. We're not going to get relegated, which is the main important thing. That's the only thing we were aiming for this season, not to get relegated, and we've gone ahead and secured that pretty much. I don't think anyone down the bottom of the table would have any hope of getting past 19 points. So that's where we're at. Everyone's still happy. We came in 6th overall, so the chairman is very happy. Still with us 100%. No marketability change, although we did get, look at that, we got some bigger boosts this time for both of these drivers. We've got 1.2 going in, so we're back now into the green. So let's just go ahead and check these emails before we finish. Car conditions right, hard fought win, it's all just about the race. So yeah, so we're not doing too badly still. We see the last 2 races we come from a long way down the field, especially this race we came from a long way down the field to get into 7th and 8th. I think we finished there. Yeah, to finish 7th and 8th, as a lot of these cars seem to have a lot of reliability problems still. So that's definitely not going to work in our favour as we get towards this end of the season. But we've got Yokohama next, which looks to be about the same. It's another short track, although I think it's going to be it's not going to be as quick as Vancouver, because there's a lot more turns in it, just like the real Japanese Grand Prix. So maybe this is another race where we can do pretty well in. I wouldn't hold my breath though. I think we're starting to finally drop behind the field. Was this one that we did well in, the shorter one? I think this one that I was looking forward to, we're going to have the same problem that we had in Vancouver, where there's a lot of bunching maybe around these corners, and we're going to get held up quite a bit and drop behind the field. There is a couple. I think we might be able to do quite well at Rio de Janeiro. A nice long track where the cars are spread out, so there's not a lot of being held up. Hopefully there's possibilities of a few more points before the end of the season. I don't think we're going to continue challenging here. I think we're going to end up dropping down to mid-table somewhere. But yeah, anyway, so that's another episode in the bag there. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below if you like this video, and if you did like it as well, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment. I do try and reply to every comment that I get. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you down the road in Japan, and goodbye.